Okay, so we are on to round 1 to 4, and I'm just going to warn you in advance that round number 1 to 4 is very labor intensive. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to start off. So the first part of round 1 to 4 is this part over here. So what we're going to be doing is we are going to be working 2 sets of those petals into the chain, second chain and the third chain. So remember, we've got 4 chains, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to work into that section over there. So leave a long tail so that you can work your tail, and the reason I say leave a long tail is because you can kind of crisscross it at the back here so that it holds your petals in the front. Okay, so you can kind of work sort of with your long tail at the end. You can kind of crisscross like that when you're working it in and then back again, and that'll ensure that your little petals stay forward and don't fall to the back. Okay, so I've got myself a nice long tail, and then you're just going to do that. Alright, so you're going to be working 1, 2, and then as we did before, so you'll start off with chain 2, you're going to work 3 double crochets, right, chain 2, then you're going to slip stitch back into that chain 1 space, you're going to chain 1, slip stitch into the next chain 1 space, chain 2 and 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, like so, chain 2, am I going right? Of course, yeah. I can't really see because the sun is shining in between the stormy clouds. So we're just going to do that. There we go. Okay, so we chain 2, slip stitch back into the chain 1 and fasten off. Okay, leave a nice long tail so that you can work in all those bits and pieces securely like that. Okay, so when I'm just going to show you, I thought I should show you some of these, you know, because I sort of have ways of working in my tails. So the way that I would do this is like that, and then sort of cross over like so. So just kind of go into that one, right, and just make sure these are forward, and then kind of work that. So if you pull it quite tight, and then you know, because I'm doing this as a tutorial, I don't often take too much time with working in my tails because it takes time. So alright, and you just kind of go across like that, you pull them nice and tight, and then you can kind of go up into this section over here like that. You can just pull it tight. You can kind of, because you're using the same color, especially if you've used the same color, you can kind of Roxy she's barking or growling at the postman. It's such a cliche. Okay, so you just kind of do that, you know, and you can do the same over here, so it sort of helps to, and then just up in this space again. You see what I mean? So I'm not going to spend too much time, but you kind of get the idea. Okay, I'm not doing such a neat job, but you kind of get the idea. So you sort of use your tails to pull it up, you know, and then it's nice and sturdy, and it's not going to fall behind or fall to the back. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're just going to do this all the way around. Now, I highly recommend that you finish off each section as you go along. You know, just make sure that you've done it correctly, and then work in all your tails, because this is a very taily bit. So you basically want everything sort of pretty neat before you start with the second part. This is quite labor intensive, as I said. Alright, so now you're going to do this into all your corresponding sections. Okay, so I'm faffing a little bit now. Alright, so you're going to pull these. Look at me. Stop. Okay, so it's going to look like that. So you're going to have this sort of almost like little scales coming out like that. So lots of nice texture. Alright, and so on. So now you're going to be doing this obviously here as well, and into all your other corresponding spaces. Okay, so you go ahead and do that and work in all your tails. Okay, so I suggest you just make a cup of tea and make yourself comfortable. And the other thing is also that this is kind of one of those sections that I think is probably best to do on a surface, on a table or something like that. Okay, alright. Okay, so I'm going to see you when you've done your 2 in all your corresponding spaces. Alright, so that is round 1, 2, 4, part A. Okay, so now we are on to the second part, or part B, of this quite labor intensive round 1, 2, 4. So now what we're going to do is we're going to be going all the way back to round 1, 1, 0, okay, where we did our 10 puffs into those chain 1 spaces. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And let me tell you that I've been sitting here with the blinds open because it is storming outside, and as soon as I start the video the sun peeps out. Oh my gosh, Murphy's Law, right? Okay, so now we have, so this is, you know, the spacing is really what the most complicated part is of this section. So now we have those 10 puffs. So we're going to count 5 from either side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to be working into that space between our 2 double crochets. So the 2 double crochets that we worked into that space there. So this is caught on a piece of fiber. There we go. Like that. Okay, so we're going to be working into that center space. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2 double crochets, and then so your 6th one, the middle one. So you should have 5 either side, and you should have 5 puffs either side. So now, what we're going to do is we are going to work chain 4. So we're going to slip stitch into that and then work a chain 4. And now, the best advice I can give you at this point is to work those tails to the back, okay, because they're just going to get in your way and drive you crazy. Now, so what we're going to do is we're going to yarn over. So we're working a 2 trebles together, but of course that's three trebles together, right? And the color that I'm using is Burham, and the reason I'm using this color is because I've got lots of it. I think I still have another 2 full balls, so Okay, so we've got our chain 4, yarn over times 2. Yarn over times 2, and then 2 trebles together, and you work them all together, so it's basically 3 trebles together. Now, the placement. So that is the center. So what we're going to do is we're going to count 2. So we're going to go to the right to our next 2 double crochets. Then we're going to go to the one above it. So we're going to go right and 1 up. And we're going to attach our 3 trebles together into that, so into the sort of bottom center part of the next 2 double crochet up. So you just got to pull that nice and tight. You're going to slip stitch. Then you're going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, yarn over twice, and we're going to work into that very same space where we worked our slip stitch, and we're going to do another. So the chain 4 is equivalent to a treble. Alright, so I'm just going to say 3 trebles together. Now, again, same story. We're going to count. So immediately the 2 double crochets to your right, 1 up, and then you're going to attach into the bottom of the next kind of V. Alright, I'm saying it's a V, but I wasn't meaning them to be V's. They were just 2 double crochets. Slip stitch, yarn over, and then we're going to work 4 chains, and then we're going to work back into that same space. It's actually pretty easy, this is an independent round, so it's not integral to anything else. So if your spacing is slightly somewhere else, as long as it's within this area, it's not going to matter too much. It'll change how things look slightly, but so there we go again. So we're going to go to the next 2 double crochets to your right, 1 up, and we're going to attach over there. Okay, so we're going 2, and then we're going to just work a slip stitch. So just going to pull that. Okay, then we're going to 1, 2, 3, 4, chain 4 into that same space, 1, 2, and now once you've done this side, then the other side and the rest is pretty easy, because then you can kind of see what's going on. Okay, and this time we're not going to close our 3 trebles together. We're just going to move over again. So we're going, there's our next V to the left, there's the next one, but we're going to skip, so we're going to skip this one, that one, and the third one. So before we would have done it over here, we would have attached it here, but we're actually going to attach with, so we're just going to attach it like that with a slip stitch and fasten off and leave a nice long tail so that you've got plenty of tail to work in, and work another slip stitch just to secure it. And there you go. And then my advice is really just to work your non-working tails to the back like that. Okay, now you're going to do exactly the same on the other side. Right, so now you're just going to work into that very same space. You're going to attach your yarn with the slip stitch like that, and then you're going to chain 4. Okay, I don't even wait to pull this tail to the back. I pull it to the back immediately because it gets very annoying when you've got all these tails behind. Right, then we're going to yarn over twice. We're working into that same space. 1, 2 again. So the whole time that I've been working these double crochets, those little two double crochets, between the two double crochets, I've been thinking of this section as a canvas, you know, and what I was going to do. So now again, so you line that up, so that is your center. You're going to count the first one to your left this time, one up, and you'll attach it over there with a slip stitch. Okay, pull it nice and tight. Then you're going to chain 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm just doing this section with you because I know it's, you know, not conventional. So I feel like I don't want to just abandon you in crochet land. Okay, so each time we're actually using a chain 1 to fasten off. So now we're going to go there. So we're moving. It's a bit like the song from Let's Do the Time Warp Again. that one, the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And so we jump to the left, you know. So every time I was doing this, I kept on thinking of that song. Alright, so now we're kind of in that space, so we're going to move 1 to the left, 1 up, and then we're going to just attach into the bottom of the next V up. Okay, with this slip stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yarn over twice. And you know, once you've mastered this, and it shouldn't take you long at all, then it goes really fast. So we're working 3 trebles together, and we're closing it off with the chain 1, and then we jump to the left, 1 up, and slip stitch into that space. Make sure you pull nice and tight. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, like so. Yarn over. This time we don't close, we jump to the left, skip 3, so we're jumping to the left, and we're going 1, 2, 3, and we're working a slip stitch into that top space there. Okay, then work. Oopsie, if I'm going a bit off camera. Right, and it's going to look like that. Okay, so now when you work your tails in, so make sure you have like a fairly long tail. When you work it in, you can kind of just slide it in underneath all the way along the top over here, and although it won't flop up, especially if you sort of, you know, once you've blocked it and everything will actually lie quite nice and flat, then but you can, with your tail, you can just kind of do a little stitch, invisible stitch almost, so that it holds your trebles down like that. Okay, but now we're going to do this again. So now we're going to do a second kind of layer of these trebles together. So we're going to go. So now you see I've already done one, but I didn't want to show you in case I frightened you off. So we're going to go into the top of this one, I think, and to the top of that one like that. Right. So now that is, so we've got, so this is the one, so we went into the bottom one, so it was that row over there, and now we're going to skip the next row, and we're going to work kind of into the bottom of our V of the next row of V's. So the bottom of the V, and then we're just going to do exactly the same. You're going to chain 4 yarn over. So highly recommended. Just work your tails to pull your tail to the back. Okay. So I'm just going to do that. Right, like that. Pull it to the back. Okay, and the same story. We're going to go, this is the one to the right. So that's the one we're working in. Here's the one to the right, and we're going to go one up, and then we're just going to work into the bottom of that V of the next one up. And slip stitch. Pull, nice and tight. 1, 2, 3, 4. Same story. We're working into the bottom of that V. Okay, so I have no idea how I'm going to explain this to people in the written pattern. No idea. Okay, same story. There's our V to the right. We actually worked into that, so it's 1, 2, and we're going to work into the top of that second one, or the bottom of the V of the third one. Going to pull it tight. 1, 2, 3, 4. And as I say, if your placement is like not totally exact, it's just going to make these trebles, this kind of link, you know, like treble link, it's just going to make it look different. I mean, you could go up like that, you know, you could do different things. And then we're going to go again. So that's the other V where we worked. So it's 1, 2, 3, and we're going to work into the top of that one, just like that. Okay, and just pull it nice and tight. Okay, and then basically and just pull it nice and tight like that. And now you're going to do another one up this side and do exactly the same as what you did on that side. Do up that side, and then when you finish this one, work in your tails. Okay, believe me, take my advice, work in your tails for this section, because it is very finicky. Okay, so I shall see you when we're finished here. And this is part B of round 1224, and the color I'm using is Burim. Okay, so I hope that wasn't too difficult, and I think, you know, this is kind of the little V's that we've got here, this little section here where we had these 2 double crochet, these little V's happening here. They work as a grid. So, you know, so basically you are just working in the grid, so you've got guidelines, and you know, it should be fairly straightforward, right? Because you've got your guidelines. So you're going to end up, you know, with that in the middle. You're going to have that kind of in the center there, right? And then you're going to have the 2 and then a bit there. So, you know, you just use your eye to make sure that everything is lining up nice and straight. So in the written pattern, I'll just make sure that I've got quite a lot of pictures here and just go see image, see image, see image. Now, for the next part, whoopsie, for the next part, we are going to be changing colors, and we'll use Nijmegen, which is the green, right? So now, so that's why I said this is pretty labor intensive. So what we're going to do now is we are going to work into our next 3 I was going to say we're going to work into our next 3 double crochets. No, what we're going to do is we are going to work into this next space over here. So kind of out where you can see that little V peeping out over there, we're going to work into that space, so into the bottom of that V. Okay, so the very first little V that you see, which is going to be 1, 2, 3. So it's like the third, sort of working to the bottom of the fourth V, but into the bottom space. Okay, anyway, you know, this is where you just need to use your eye, otherwise it starts getting so technical. Alright, so now we're going to make a slip stitch, and we're going to just work a chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So as before, yarn over twice. So you'll notice that I've done a lot of these sort of stitches this time because I wanted it to look very chunky and leafy and flowery and buddy and okay, but with a Karoo background. I'm going to chain 1 to close. Now what we're going to do is I'm just going to move this to the back. Okay, so you always see. So now we're going to do what we did before. We're going to work into, so we're going to go 1, 2, I'm just counting because it's a little bit more difficult. So we've got, so we have to imagine that we can see the other one. 1, 2, 3. Alright, so that would be your V to the right. Okay, that would be the one above it, but you're going to go into, maybe it's easier to say the third V down from the top, but to the left. Okay, yeah, maybe that's easier. So that is your center one, your center row of V's going up, and here's your second row of V's, so 1, 2, alright, and we're going to go into the bottom like that. So we're going to attach this into the bottom of our third V down. That's probably the easiest way to say it. Hey, attach into the bottom of the third V down. Right, so, and now if you don't want to attach it, you can also just pull your yarn through. You know, just pull your yarn through to the back like that. Right, so it's going to look like that. And then of course when you work your end in, it's going to hide that little piece. And you're just going to snip your yarn off. And then you're going to do this again. So that's why I say it's probably a little bit easier to work on a table when you're doing this. It's quite finicky. But I thought it was quite pretty at the end. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yarn over twice. So we're working into that same space. We're just repeating what we've just done. 2. And again. 1, 2. Yarn over, chain 1, and now I'll take my own advice, 1, 2, 3, and work a slip stitch like so. Pull it nice and tight. And as I say, you don't have to attach it there. You can actually just pull your yarn, you know, just pull your tail through to the back and attach it, but I want to attach it just to make sure that it's extra attached. Right, so it looks a bit knobbly, but when you work your ends in, that, you know, is just going to kind of fold over like that. Okay, so maybe I didn't do a great job. I did a better job when I first did it. Okay, so that's going to look like that. And again, you just need to use your eye to make sure that everything is kind of lined up. So I'm just going to work in my tails, and then I'll see you when you've done that. Okay, so the other thing is also you can do 4 trebles together if you want it to be like quite sort of plump. That's the only word I can think of to describe. If you want your leaves to be a little bit plumper, you can kind of do, you know, 4 trebles together or 5 trebles together, and then, you know, they'll really sort of stick out like that. But I've only done 3. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to do the next part. So we're going to work into the center over here. So we're kind of following this line all the way up like that. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to work into the top of our center 2 double crochets, our center V, right? And we're just going to chain 4. So that's kind of the theme, chain 4s. And we're going to work trebles again. So we're going to work 3 trebles together. I'm counting that. I'm counting that chain space, and then we're going to attach. We're going to attach this into our second. Okay, so we're going to attach it into the space. So we've got 1, 2. No, hang on a second. Sorry, not into the space, between, like that. I was wondering why it was a bit stretchy. And chain 1. Okay, so we're going to attach it into the space between the first and the second V to your right. Then we're going to chain 1. So we're going to attach it and chain 1, and then we're going to do, so now those tails, now we're going to do, so we're going to be doing 5, 2, 3, okay, chain 1, chain 1, and again. So as I said, it's pretty labor intensive, so just take your time. So we chain 1 to close, chain 1, I'm kind of holding my tail at the back there. We're working into that space between our center V. Okay, so we've got 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we do a chain 1 after our closing chain 1, and then another 1. 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2. Yarn over. You don't chain 1. You just skip our first V to the left and you work a single crochet or slip stitch. We're going to be working over that anyway, so I suggest with this one you do another slip stitch or another knot, just to make sure it's really, really nice and tight. Okay, because we're going to be working into that space, so they do tend to sort of come apart if you haven't. So now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3 times trebles together with a chain 1 in between. Okay, so I'm going to let you finish that and I'll see you in a moment. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to count from your top V. So this is your center V. We're not going to worry what round it is or anything. We're just going to work in a very kind of visual way. So you've worked into your center V, so that's going to be your first V. So we're going to count 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is kind of right there. It's the first V that you see between your 2 3 times treble leaves, and we're going to work into the bottom of that V like that, and we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then before these tails create mischief, right, we are going to yarn over 3 times, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to work into that space again. So as you can see, we are going to be doing a double treble, and you're going to work 1, 2, 3, close, alright, and then I'm just going to snip that off. We're going to pull that through without doing that closing chain like that. So you're just going to pull that tight at the back. I'm going to pull this tight in the front. I'm going to pull that to the back like so. And now all you're going to do then is attach. So I haven't worked in my little tails for that fan because I'm not so worried about those. Alright, and now you're just going to pull that kind of right up and then work down, okay, to attach it. So you're just going to kind of, so just make sure that you work it in like that. Okay, working the tail all the way down like that. Okay, so it should look like that. So I just did 2, but you can do more. So I just did a chain 5 and then did 1 double treble, but you can work 2 if you like. Okay, and then later on we're actually going to be working behind here, and we're going to pull that up, so it's actually going to go, it's going to go up like that. Okay, so that's going to look like that. So I haven't really tightened it yet. Okay, so you know, you can go and work it in whenever you get a chance. Okay, so now with all the tails showing, so it's a bit finicky, and if you've done it, it's going to look like that. Okay, so you're going to have your, and I can imagine, of course I've used weird colors, but many of you are using just amazing colors and looks absolutely beautiful. So this is the end of round number 124, and I'm going to see you very shortly at round 125. Okay, so I'm going to be starting with Burham, okay, and that's because I want to do the same color as I did over here with our sort of chain leaf or leaf chain, and I'll show you why. So now here's our last double crochet front post. Alright, we're going to completely ignore the corner for the time being, and we're going to start on the left hand side of our corner. So there's the corner like that, there's our corners over there, and we're beginning on the left hand side of the corner, and we're going to work a chain 2 front post, which is basically a half double crochet front post, and we're going to work that over our first double crochet, those 7 double crochets that we've been doing so diligently. Right, then we're going to work a half double crochet between a double crochet front post, and that's basically how we're going to be working this. Alright, so we're going to have 1 as a front post, 1 in between, 1 half double crochet in between, half double crochet as a front post, half double crochet in between, half double crochet as a front post. Okay, half double crochet in between, and I'm kind of working over the tail as well as you can see. Alright, so it's going to look like that. Right, then we're going to work, so we're going to keep on with that sequence, half double crochet between. We're going to work 2 double crochets, we're going to work 2 half double crochet front posts over our 2 double crochets, our V. We're going to work 1 in between, 1 double crochet in between, 2 half double crochet front posts. We're not working between those 2. We're going to work them as if they were a V stitch, like that. So we're going to do that, right? Then we're going to work half double crochet front post over our puffs. I think we can abandon our tail at this point. Right. And we're going to work 2, oopsie, nope, I'm going to work double crochet, half double crochet, and then 2 front posts, half double crochet front posts, and then 1 in between. Two half double crochet front posts, one in between, half double crochet in between. We're working half double crochet front posts over our puffs. We're working 1 afterwards. So we're not working between our V's, okay? We're working between 2 V's. There. Those are the 2 V's we're working between, but we're not working between, if you know what I mean. Half double crochet. Okay. 2 half double crochet front posts, like so. And between, we're working over our, doing half double crochet front posts over our puffs, and directly afterwards we're working over the legs of the V's, and then, so these are the final 2, like so. Alright. Then we're going to chain 1. So we're going to chain 1, and we are going to work, oh, never mind about that. So we're going to chain 1, and then we're just going to work. So you can do this 2 ways. Either you can do a slip stitch into your chain 1 space, or you can just work a single crochet back post around that double crochet front post, because you won't see it. If you pull it nice and tight, it's just going to be hidden. And then you're going to chain 1, yarn over, and immediately work. Don't immediately work that. You're immediately going to work a puff into your 2 double crochets, in between those 2 double crochets, like that, and then in between, so into the space. You're working yarn over times 3, yarn over, and you're working into that space where you connected your last treble. So you're basically working into every single space. Okay, and in between, 1, 2, 3. Ay, ay, ay. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And you're working into, so you're working into your space between your 2 double crochets plus the spaces in between. 1, 2, 3, like that. Oh, I don't know if you can hear the wind, but it is so stormy. Okay. 1, 2, 3. I hope you're with me. Yarn over, and then we are going to work into the next space. 1, 2, 3. Okay, like that. So we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're going to have 8 puffs. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then, sorry, my blanket's just slowly sliding off the table. Then we're going to yarn over. We're going to skip our first 3 trebles. We're going to work yarn over times 3 puffs. We're going to work 2 into the chain 1 space. 2, 3. Yarn over. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we're working like that. Okay, so can you see where we've gone? Right, there's our chain 2s behind there. One, 2, 3. So we're working 2 puffs, yarn over times 3, chain 1 to close into our chain 1 spaces between our 3 trebles together, our 5 3 trebles together. 1, 2, 3. Yarn over. So it's going to look like so. Okay, then you're going to yarn over. I've just got a big ball of this burn. It's a new ball, so it doesn't really unravel so nicely. We're going to work immediately, and then basically you're just going to mirror now everything that you did on the left. On the right. On the left you're going to mirror everything that you've done on the right. So you're working into the space between your V's. You're working into your V's as well. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Plus the spaces in between. 2, 3. Right. So 1, 2, 3, and in between 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. So you should have 8 these before you get to your next chain 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. So just check that it matches up. So you should have 3 there, 3 there, 2 between, 2 between, 3 on that side, 3 on that side. Okay, then you're going to chain 1, and you're going to just work a single crochet back post. Or as I say, you can also just work a stitch into that chain 1 between these 2 little bunny ears. Then you're going to yarn over, and you're back to working your not double crochet front posts, your half double crochet front posts. Okay, so you're going to be working these half double crochet front posts over your V's and between your V's. So over your V's. So when I say over your V's, I mean this, over your V's. Between your V's and your puff. Over your puffs. Okay. And then between. Then over your V's. So you should have 46 stitches. Let me just check. You should have 46 of these. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46. Okay, so you should have 46 stitches along this side over here, and obviously in the pattern I'll tell you how many are half double crochets and how many, or maybe I won't, and how many are just half double crochets. But anyway, you should have 46 stitches either side of your puffs. Okay, and your puff side is going to look like that. Right? Okay, so let me just show you what it looks like when this section is finished. I'm just going to turn this around because obviously I have finished a whole section, so I can show you what it looks like. Okay, so it looks like that, and that's what I was talking about, where we are going to work a single crochet back post at the top there. Right, and it's going to look like that. So basically we're going to be carrying on doing, we did those front post stitches, and then we're going to do 2 more rows of half double crochet back post stitches. So we're creating a little border here, and we're going to carry on with the puffs and so on. Okay, so I shall see you at the second part of this section over here. Alright, round number 125. Okay, so now for the second part of this, so this is all round 125. So now what we're going to do is we're going to work a back post stitch. So I'm not really sure how to start, so I'm just going to do I'm just going to chain 2 kind of, but that is your first stitch, and then you're going to work, so you're going to work back post stitches. So I'm just counting that as if it's back post stitch, okay, so that we always have the same stitch counts. So we're going to have 46 back post half double crochets. Right, so I'm going to leave you to do that, so just be careful and make sure that you get all of your stitches. So you're going to be working back post stitches over your half double crochets, and also back post half double crochets over your front post half double crochets, like that. Okay, so it's a bit finicky, that's why I warned you right at the beginning. This is very labor intensive, it might take a while, and it's quite finicky as well. But we are nearing the end, don't have much more to go. Okay, so alright, so you're just going to carry on like that. So make sure that you have a bit of a tail at the end there. Right, so you're just going to work all of your 46 stitches there and you're going to be using half double crochet back post. Okay, so I've done all my back post stitches, right, so which I have 46 of. Okay, half double crochet back post. Now you're going to yarn over and you're going to work a puff, yarn over times 3. Okay, those little puffs were yarn over times 3. Did I say that? And you're going to work them into the next 2 chain 1 spaces, like so. Yarn over, and you want 9 of these. So we're working between our, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7, 8, and 9. 1, 2, 3. So we're going to have 9 puffs. Work between our puffs from the previous round. Okay, so you're going to have that going on there. That's where your last puff is placed. You're going to chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're going to yarn over and you're going to do a nifty little thing where you're going to pull. Okay, and you're just going to work a single crochet. Oopsie. You're just going to work. So you're just going to pull that through and just work a single crochet like that. I'm actually trying to do a single crochet back post. Hang on a sec. Okay, so what I've done is a single crochet front post. I mean a single crochet, yes, a single crochet front post kind of through the back. And I was like thoroughly confused because when I did the last one, I actually did a back post, but then I realized and I was thinking, now how did that happen that I did a back post? But I remembered that when I was doing my my ends over here, instead of doing them the way that I did now, which was to kind of flip over and then work back down down the stitch, that you got that going on, I actually took my ends and I worked it around the base of the trebles, of the 3 trebles together over here, because that's also, so you know, you can do that as well. So that's what I did. I worked it here. So of course it created a little piece of yarn going up, you know, the top. So the top went sort of straight up, and it was easy to do a back post, a single crochet back post. But now, because I've done it like this, I'm going to be doing a single crochet front post. So that's pretty easy, because all you do is you just insert your hook, you pull it to the front, the back, you pull the front to the back, work a single crochet front post, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, chain 6, and continue. And it's the same difference really. You've got that little piece. I just wanted that little bit of detail sticking out there, okay? So now you're going to do exactly what you did. You're going to yarn over and you're going to work a puff between your next 2. So you're just ignoring those 2 puffs together. 2, 3. Did I do 3 or 4? 1, 2, 3. Then basically you're just going to mirror exactly what you've done on the right. 3, like that. Okay, and you should have 9 puffs, and then of course you're going to have 46 half double crochet back posts. Right, so you're just going to carry on like that, and of course you'll be working your last 2 puffs into those chain 1 spaces, but just make sure that you have 9 on each side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then your half double crochet back posts. Okay, so I wanted that to stick through like that. Right. Okay, so you're going to just finish that up, and that's going to be the second last part of round 125, and then I'll show you how to do the last part of round 125.